How's it going, guys? And welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. As usual, I'm your host, Mike Ruiz, and today we are really going to need for you to participate because we have two interesting cases for today related to the topic, which is I'm sick. Have you ever had an experience with an illness that you would like to share with us? Was it unpleasant? Was it easy to handle? Do you live consistently with maybe a chronic condition? In my case, well, ever since I was a kid, I suffer from allergies. I have broken my leg. Fortunately, I didn't have COVID, but, I didn't have a good time when I received the injections. How did you? How did you experience that stage in history? Did you get COVID? How did you manage to go along with it? How do you feel? Has there been a change before and after you received that condition? Be sure to click in the comments and tell me about it. And anything, of course, that you would like to share related to health. Also tell us, not everything has to be tragic. What healthy measures do you implement in your everyday life? Do you have habits that you consider healthy? Like maybe not smoking at all, or maybe ingest a certain amount of nutrients, proteins, maybe stay away from, bad consumption habits? Be sure to tell me. And let's begin right now to bring our guests. They have both different approaches to today's topic. So without further ado, let's bring out, making their return to the Let's Talk Show, we have Poncho and Ana. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to have you back here, guys, and good to see all of you one more time. Alrighty, let's just, even for the format, this is a very vast topic that we could just go on and on and on. But before we get started with the, with the big questions, let's just start with the simple ones, just to get the atmosphere and get us going a little bit. So, Poncho, Ana, do you have maybe some habits that can benefit your health in your everyday life? Poncho.
Well, I do a lot of exercise. I think that helps. Lately, I have been eating a little better, because of my health condition. We will probably talk about that in a moment. But yes, I think that eating healthily and doing exercise are one of my strong points. I don't sleep very well, so, but it's also because of the condition. So I don't know. I think that sleeping well is a good thing, but I don't get that part.
Got it. Mm-hmm. All right. What about you, Anna? Do you have some healthy habits? Let's call them that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not really into exercise, but I do walk a lot. I like to walk. So that's what I do. I really enjoy it. And well, unlike Poncho, I do sleep well. I have to sleep 8 hours every night.
Wow.
Yeah, because if not, I feel tired the rest of the day. So yeah, I go to bed early. It's very rare for me to go to bed late. What else? I drink a lot of water too. I'm always drinking water because also my kidneys are kind of delicate. So
wow.
So it's important for me to drink water. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, as for food, well, I wouldn't say I eat junk food all the time, but I do I do try to eat a little bit of everything every day.
All right, guys. Good recommendations for our viewers, and thank you for getting this session started. Now, this got me thinking. When you guys mentioned, that sleeping is very important, mostly because we use our energy for our professions, for our jobs. And this got me thinking. Sometimes there are seasons in which, we have a high amount of work in our professions, and that goes along with being very stressed. And also, due to our personal life, that's really, out of my league, but I know that we get some personal things that demand our attention, and that also can get us stressed. Have you ever gotten sick because of stress? Poncho.
Well, I guess that even though my condition, uh, like the etiology of my condition is unknown, I think it's stress related. I am a person that is very nervous, so what I have is related to that part. It's like my esophagus can't relax. The muscle, it cannot relax. So I believe that it's probably related to that, And I've gotten sick because of stress, because of my reactions to external stimuli, So yeah, I've been sick because of stress.
What about you, Anna? Does stress influence your physical health?
Yes, of course, because all the emotions that we feel, if we don't release those emotions, if we don't release that stress is going to go to our organs. I mean, because that stress has to come out in some way. So, of course, as Poncho mentioned, usually stress manifests in the stomach or in the digestive system. That's why many people who have very stressful lives have gastritis or problems with the colon, because, all the stress has to go somewhere. And if you don't do anything about it, it's going to affect your body. So, yeah.
All right. I trust that, at some point in our lives, we all get involved in some sort of like physical activity. And one of the worst outcomes for doing a physical activity is that we could actually get some of our bones broken. Have you experienced something like that? A fracture, maybe, Poncho?
I've had several injuries because I have played soccer all my life. I broke my fifth metatarsal bone some years ago, but I broke it. It was not a complete fracture. It was just kind of cracked,
Okay.
It didn't fully snap. And it was because in that moment I had Cushing syndrome, and which is another condition that I could tell you about later on. But when you have this syndrome, your organism is not in the best of conditions. And one of the symptoms, one of the things that you have is all your bones are weaker. Your bones are very, very weak. So I was playing and I only stepped a little harder than usual, probably, but in a normal person, that wouldn't be a reason enough to break a bone. but I unfortunately broke mine in that one, you know. But other than that, only sprains, bad sprains probably, but never a fracture other than that.
Okay, good to know because that feels awful.
Yeah.
Anna, what about you?
Well, I'm lucky that I've never broken a bone.
And I hope you never get to experience that.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
But
I mean, I have had accidents, but I've never broken a bone.
what has been like a physical injury that you had taken and you were like, oh my God, please, I want to get better right away?
A physical injury would be, I don't know. I think, well, at one time I burned myself when I tried to lit the boiler. You know, you have to,
Oh,
yes, the flame came out like, and it burned my hand, my right hand.
oh my
Luckily,
God.
it wasn't serious, but it burned. I mean, I felt my hand like burning, and it went all red. And well, the next day I had like all my hand was with I forgot like scales, you know, like
With blisters.
Mhm.
not exactly blisters, but I mean more like, for example, when you burn, like when you sunbathe and you burn your skin and your it starts
Oh,
to peel off. Yes,
it
uh,
peels.
yes, like my skin was peeling off, and it hurt a lot, and I had to wear a bandage, but it wasn't serious. I mean, it didn't get like to the like deep in my skin, but yeah, it
So
was.
it didn't leave a mark or anything.
Yeah, no, luckily.
Well, you said it
Yeah.
yourself, luckily. All right, guys. I can't postpone this any longer since it has been brought up ever since we started. In the case of Poncho, as I understand, well, you mentioned that you have a chronic condition which is called achalasia. Could you tell our viewers what is that condition about, please?
Well, yeah, it's a problem in the esophagus. And as I told you, the origin is unknown. We don't really know why it happens, but it consists on the incapacity of the muscle to relax. So food gets impacted in this area. Like it doesn't really go to the stomach. So you have reflux, or you just feel like very full immediately, or you cannot swallow properly. And when you try to go to bed, it's a problem. I don't know. It's something that is really stressing because you have to be playing around with your chest and trying to swallow in different ways. So it kind of goes down, you know? Um, that's that's the most that I know about it. I don't, because as I told you, they don't really know what provokes it.
But when did you find out that you had that condition?
Okay, I found out that I had achalasia like 2 months ago, probably, or even a little less.
Oh,
Because
recently.
yeah, I had they I took a like they sent a very specific test. It's called manometry. So
Yeah.
the manometry consists on introducing uh how do you say this?
A tube?
Well, yeah, well, it's a tube, a very, very thin tube through the nose, and it goes down. And then what they test is the ability of the muscle to move, to actually move, you know? So when like I remember it's a very uncomfortable test. It's a very, very uncomfortable test. It doesn't hurt that much. It kind of hurts, but not really. It's not like a biopsy because June 2022, I had an endoscopy and a biopsy done. The biopsy really, really hurts a lot because they take tissue and it was done 8 times, you know? So like, yeah, they also introduce another tube, a much more thicker tube, but then they introduce another tube inside that tube, and this tube has some clamps, like Dr. Octopus clamps, like the same, but very, very small ones. They stick it to the wall of the esophagus, they close it, and then they pull. So when they pull, it hurts a lot, you know? And there was like no anesthesia or anything, so it was like Viva Mexico, you know? So, yeah, it hurt. It hurt a lot. And this one was not very painful, but it was uncomfortable. And it was more specialized. And as soon as the doctor introduced it, he said like, I think I know what you've got, you know? He said that it was a very good idea from my other doctor to send that specific test because it's one of the most specific ones for the achalasia. So they discovered that I have achalasia and they have to operate on me. I'm actually getting operated on next week.
I hope it turns out fine, bro.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
How do you manage to like handle your everyday habits, your everyday routine with the achalasia?
I try not to eat after 8 p.m.
Okay.
Because the later you eat, the more problems you will have digesting it. And then if you go to bed in a horizontal position, then it's a problem, you know? So doctors told me that I have to sleep on a semi-vertical position, like diagonally, but it's very, very uncomfortable. I really cannot do it. So I don't know, I lie down flat, facing up, because if I turn to my left or to my right, that is a problem. The food starts coming to my nose and then I start choking, like literally choking, or I get up like feeling that I'm going to pass out because there is something blocking my breathing, you know? So it's very uncomfortable. So I try not to eat really late and I try not to eat very acid things. I try not to drink soft drinks because of the gas. Like there are basically a lot of things that I shouldn't be eating, but I mean, it's like, then what am I living for? You know? So
I get it.
I don't always respect those things, but I don't know. It's just the way it is.
I get it, bro. And thank you so much for sharing that with us and to all of our viewers.
Yeah.
Anna, as I understand, other than your English knowledge, you also have an education in psychology. Could you tell me which is your main focus for psychology? Like, what is your area of expertise?
Well, actually, I'm more specialized in social psychology.
What is that about?
So that is like, like topics about society. It's more about groups, working with groups, with communities rather than the individual. So that's what we focus on.
Which groups do you find the most interesting to study and to look up close?
Well, for my for my thesis, I work with women. specifically with single mothers, and that's like my focus, like working with women, but women in different aspects, you know, like well, I work with others. Also, well, I am interested in working with women that live, well, that come from, a violent environment. Probably LGBTQ plus people as well. I am interested in that. But yeah, I mean, that's my interest so far.
What is a determined factor that can influence a woman's mental stability, for better and for worse?
Well, I mean, it depends what aspect we are talking about.
Sure.
Because I mean, just like everybody else, I mean, as long as you have like a good job and economical stability, I mean, you're going to be fine. But also, when it comes to women, there is also this thing that it's like you have to be, like you have to always look young and pretty and be a mother, because if you are not a mother, then you are an incomplete woman. And so, those ideas also influence women's mental health, because there is like another type of pressure. It's not just get a job or be independent. It's also like, and when are you going to be a mom? And when are you going to get married? Because if you don't have a husband or if you don't have a child, it's like you're missing something, So that also affects women.
External factors that supposedly determine a woman's value in a society. Is that what I'm getting? Okay. And what has been like a common issue that the groups that you study or that you specialize in focus on deal with every day?
Well, in the case of the single mothers I work with,
Yes.
usually the thing is that they all experience violence in some way, like economic violence, physical violence, psychological, even sexual abuse. And also, I mean, apart from what they live through with their partners, they also have to deal with the stigma of being a single mother, because they are usually labeled by other people like, la luchona, right? Or like, she cannot, if they don't feel the role appropriately, then they're not mothers, right? Like if they fail, if they make like the smallest mistake, they are considered the worst mothers. So that's something that really affects them.
I understand. Guys, wow. It has been very heavy, so once again, I thank you to take time from your routines to participate in this show and also to open yourselves to our content and to all of our viewers. Now, it's almost time to wrap things up, but before, let's get to now my personal favorite tradition of the Let's Talk Show, which is the rapid fire session. Number 1. If you could wish for a cure for a specific illness, which would it be? Just one. Poncho.
Cancer.
Anna.
Yeah, I will do the same. I choose the same.
Cancer? All right.
Yes.
What do you prefer? Taking medication orally or receive an injection? Poncho.
Orally, totally.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Oh,
Take
I
medicine.
hate injection. I hate
I hate
injections,
it.
guys.
I hate
So
it.
this is
Yeah.
unanimous. This is unanimous. Now, as common Mexicans, as common Latinos, of course, at some point, especially in our childhood, we received some sort of home remedies, remedios caseros. Which home remedy you always find effective to whatever it is that sometimes bothers you? Poncho.
Aloe vera. The use of
Oh,
aloe vera for when you hit some part of your body, or garlic, I guess. I don't know. I have some garlic drops, and my grandmother gives me those, and she's like, okay, this is for the immune system. This is to keep your immune system strong. So I don't know. I just use it.
I get you with the garlic, bro. Like they made me swole entire club, so I'm like, not doing that again. Not doing that again. What about you, Anna? Which home remedy you always find effective?
Well, I guess always hot water. I mean, when I have cramps, it's always hot water.
Oh,
Drinking hot water all the time helps a lot. And also when it comes to bites, like spider bites, of course, I mean, the not the mortal ones, of course, but your regular spider, garlic, yeah, garlic on that where the bite is. Leave it on the whole night, and it works miracles.
mortal or not, that is my worst fear.
It's not
Damn.
that bad.
I hate spiders. I hate. I do have a phobia. I'm sorry. Anyway, last question. No need to go into detail. I'm not that that gossipy. Just a simple yes or no will do. Have you ever faked an illness in order to skip work? Punch.
No. No,
All right.
not really.
Anna.
At school, yes, but work, no.
Okay, now we're
Yeah.
getting somewhere. That's school. What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. But I mean, like, maybe I have done it like once or twice.
Yeah, it's a card that it gets easily burned, so this is for all of our viewers. Don't use it that much.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
This has been fun, guys, and of course, it has been full of knowledge for all of our viewers and for myself. Unfortunately, our time is up, but, and I do mean this, you are always welcome in the Let's Talk show. Thank you so much for being here with
Thanks.
us.
Thank you.
Little heart. And for all of our viewers, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to click in next week for more of the Let's Talk show. Anna was with us. Poncho was with us, which he is also in charge of the editing. Everybody, say hello and thank you to Poncho. Thank you so much, bro. Hugs and kisses. Also, in the controls, there was Eric, and I was the host, Mike. I must bid you adieu. Goodbye and good night. Bang.